How to rebuild when you messed up everything. If you ever looked at your life and thought, I ruined this, not a small mistake, not a minor setback, but something big, something heavy, a decision that cost you a relationship, a habit that wrecked your reputation, a choice that closed doors you can't reopen. And now you're standing in the aftermath trying to figure out how to rebuild when it feels like you burned the whole house down. If that's you, I need you to lean in right now because rebuilding is possible, but it does not start where most people think it does. It starts in your mind. Accept the reality without becoming a ruin. The first step in rebuilding is brutally honest. You cannot rebuild what you refuse to acknowledge. You cannot rebuild what you refuse to acknowledge. If you messed up, own it. Not with shame, not with self-hatred, but with responsibility. See, there's a difference between saying, I made a mistake, and saying, I am a mistake. One is ownership, the other is identity. And you cannot rebuild if you confuse the two. Your failure is an event. Your failure is the event, it's not your identity. When a house burns down, the land still exists. The foundation can still be inspected. The blueprint can still be redrawn. You are not the fire, you are the architect. But architects don't deny damage, they assess it. So ask yourself, what do I do? What did it cost me? And what patterns led me here? Not to punish yourself, but to understand the structure that collapsed. Feel it, but don't live there. Rebuilding requires emotional maturity. You are allowed to grieve what you lost. You're allowed to regret what you did. You are allowed to feel disappointed in yourself. But you're not allowed to build a permanent home in guilt. And that's what a lot of us do. We start taking on the guilt and we're setting that guilt for years and years, never moving on. See, guilt is a signal. Shame is a person. Guilt says that was wrong. Shame says you were wrong. And if you stay in shame too long, you will sabotage every attempt to rebuild because deep down you believe you don't deserve restoration. Let me say that clearly. You cannot rebuild a life you secretly believe you deserve to lose. So feel it. Cry if you need to. Sit with the consequences, but don't unpack your bags in the valley. Stop waiting for motivation. Rebuilding is not glamorous. It's slow. It's repetitive. It's humbling. You don't rebuild with inspiration. You rebuild with discipline. If you lost trust, you rebuild it with consistency. If you lost financial stability, you rebuild it with budgeting and sacrifice. If you lost your health, you rebuild it with daily good habits. Small bricks laid daily. Nobody applauds foundation work, but without foundation work, the building will collapse again. Stop looking for a dramatic comeback moment. Rebuilding looks like waking up when you don't feel like it, apologizing when your pride wants silence, saving money when you want to spend, staying faithful to a process when results are invisible. This is where most people quit because rebuilding bruises the ego. But ego didn't build your future in the first place, and it won't rebuild it now. Repair what you have, release what you can't. This is critical. Repair what you can and release what you can't. I'm going to say that again. This is most important. Repair what you can, but release what you can't. This is critical. Some things can be restored. Some things cannot. And maturity is knowing the difference. Some things can be restored. Some things cannot. Maturity is knowing the difference. If you hurt someone, apologize sincerely without defending yourself. And that's what a lot of us tend to do. We'll start with defending ourselves instead of just apologizing for the situation that got us there. If you owe something, create a repayment plan. If you broke trust, accept the trust returns slowly and sometimes not at all. Sometimes the damage that we do in life cannot be returned or restored. And we have to learn to accept it, to accept that we hurt somebody to the point that they can't just let it go. And that's where a lot of us mess up, or where a lot of us get confused. We feel that if we apologize for it, that person has to accept it, get up and go on. A person may accept what you did to them or accept your apology for what you did to them, but they may not be able to let it go. And you have to be able to live and deal with that. But here's the hard truth. Rebuilding does not guarantee restoration of every relationship. Wow. Rebuilding does not guarantee restoration of every relationship. Sometimes the lesson is permanent. But even if a person doesn't come back, your character can. And that matters more than your reputation. Because when you rebuild your character, you become stronger than the version of you that failed. Build a new identity, not a new image. Build a new identity, but not a new image. A new look, new talk, new social media presence. But imagine without eternal change is just a camouflage. Real rebuilding is eternal renovation. Real rebuilding is eternal renovation. Ask yourself, who was I being when I made those decisions? What was I avoiding? What insecurity was driving me? What fear was controlling me? Until you change the internal driver, you will recreate the same external crash. Rebuilding is not about becoming impressive. It's about becoming integrated. Aligned, honest, disciplined, self-aware. Expect resistance. When you start to rebuild, or when you start rebuilding, people will doubt you. That's a natural process. We do it to others, and we will receive that also. When you start rebuilding, people will automatically doubt you. Some will remind you of who you used to be. Some will watch, waiting for you to fail again. Let them watch. Consistently silence critics. But more importantly, rebuilding isn't for them. It's for you. You are not trying to prove something. You're trying to become something. And becoming requires endurance. Rock bottom is solid ground. Here's what nobody tells you about messing everything up. Rock bottom is stable. There's no illusion down there, no fake confidence, no pretending. It's raw, it's humbling, but it is honest. And honesty is the strongest foundation you can build on. What you had when you have nothing left to protect, you can finally build correctly. Sometimes losing everything false is the only way to build something real. Sometimes losing everything false is the only way to rebuild something real. Your next move. So if you're sitting in rubble right now, don't panic. Access, own it, feel it, then start laying bricks. One habit, one decision, one day at a time. You do not rebuild your entire life in one leap. You rebuild it in layers. And hear me clearly. Messing up does not disqualify you from a powerful future. It qualifies you for wisdom. The question isn't, did you fall? The question is, will you rebuild differently? Because the version of you that rises from this can be wiser, calmer, stronger, and more disciplined than the version that failed. This is not the end of your story. This is construction season. It's messy, it's uncomfortable, but when it's finished, you won't just have your life back, you'll have life built on truth. Now take a breath and lay your first brick today. If this has encouraged you any kind of way, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it. And don't forget to follow me for more encouragement you can count on the Daily Uplift Official.